tried detox programs and you've reacted to headaches or nausea or more serious allergic reactions, if you've taken B vitamins, B complex, MSM or N-acetylcysteine, or chondrosamine sulfates, anything for joint pain, and you reacted with headaches or nausea, or you felt clouded afterwards. If you have problems with digesting cabbage or onions, garlic, maybe even headaches when you drink red wine, you certainly deal with sulfite issues. I'm Karen von Guevara. I'm a Western-trained medical doctor, and I've taken my understanding from the Western medical field to work under what I call energy medicine today. It is more something like functional medicine, where we look into the body of the person, of the patient, and try to understand where the patient is at, where the biochemistry is at, organ functioning, etc. So this video today is for people who know they struggle with sulfate issues, people who have felt sluggish for a long time, people who know they may deal with adrenal fatigue, and yet they've tried maybe a couple of general detoxes and encountered that it would bring them more problems than help. So if you're somebody who's tried detox programs and you've reacted with headaches or rashes or more serious allergic reactions, severe joint pain, stiffness, or hives, rashes like on your lower extremities, or if you've tried B vitamin complex because that is recommended, for example, in adrenal fatigue, and you reacted with headaches, or specifically B6 preparations that were simply pyridoxine and not the P5P version of this specific vitamin, and you had headaches or felt a degrading health with it. If you've tried MSM, that's supposed to help joint pain, if you've tried N-acetylcysteine or other sulfur drugs, you were treated for urinary tract infection, for example, you took Bactrim and you had a severe rash or another allergic reaction, fever, felt really bad with it. So if this is your case, you most probably deal with sulfate, if not sulfite overload of your body. So a big part of this metabolic upset that has to do with sulfate and sulfate overload oftentimes ties into an upset gut flora. A gut flora that has too many bacteria that produce sulfites and sulfates that contribute to that sulfate and sulfate overload in your body. So not just an upset metabolism where too many sulfates are produced in the so-called methylation pathways or sulfites in the so-called transsulfuration pathway, but an upset gut flora that contributes to this problem. Other symptoms of this problem, sulfate overload, would be that you go to the bathroom and your feces or gas smells like rotten eggs, has a definite sulfur component, or even your urine has a funny smell to it that reminds you on rotten eggs, sulfur. Again. Your body still calls for detox. If you have these issues, you know that you probably deal with a sulfite or sulfate overload. One thing you should really not try is to go into a deeper detox with specific synthetic chelation agents like DMSA or DMPS in that case. They would aggravate the problem. Something you need to do nonetheless is a detoxification. So if you've already tried DMSA or DMPS, or you were put on a chelation protocol that contained this and your health degraded, you can bet that it was due to a sulfate overload in your system. So stay away from these two synthetic chelation agents in specific. DMSA and DMPS are not for you. Something else that could be dangerous for your health in that specific setup is to try sauna detoxification therapy, whether it be steam sauna or infrared sauna. You may actually concentrate toxicity in your body, deteriorate your general health, and not be able to eliminate toxins because of this metabolic shutdown due to sulfate and sulfate overload. An interesting side note is that with a higher amount of heavy metals in your body, they're higher reactive elements. You actually create a higher conductivity in the body, and you will react to electromagnetic fields more than the average person with a healthy body where healthy minerals and metals are doing their job. So what does really help in this case when you have sulfite-sulfate overload? Well, you need to understand that the last pathway in the transsulfuration is done by an enzyme called sulfite oxidase. Sulfite oxidase works with molybdenum. It's as if every enzyme has a specific mineral it can work with. For sulfite oxidase, it's molybdenum. So in order to open up this last really crucial step, where sulfites are metabolized into sulfates, which are less toxic and are eliminated into the urine in the body, you need to get a supplement that contains molybdenum but no sulfate. Unfortunately, there are preparations out on the market where molybdenum is bound with sulfates, so it wouldn't help you. So you need to look for a supplement that contains molybdenum in a non-sulfate form. So the one preparation I like to work with is molybdenum chelate by Solgar. I've heard of another preparation by Thorn that seems to be okay too. Everything else, please check the small print on the label, make sure it doesn't contain molybdenum sulfate. So many manufacturers don't seem to be aware of this problem, sulfate overload. And a lot of the general detoxification products contain MSM, contain folic acid, contain B6 in the pyridoxine form, or contain B7. And many of these B vitamins, due to their structure, have thiol groups, which bring sulfates to the body. So stay away from those, they'll be dangerous to your health. The question of how molybdenum can be depleted in your body is that you really overuse the system of detoxification by the sulfite oxidase. There is competition by certain heavy metals with molybdenum. One of them would be tungsten. Tungsten can be inhaled by living close, for example, to an incineration plant that burns sewage. Or tungsten is part of a steel hardener. And if you work with metals, if you are a steel worker where tungsten is used to harden steel, you may have that problem of being overloaded in tungsten, which pushes molybdenum out. So molybdenum as an issue is just part of this sulfite oxidase complex. Sulfite oxidase, like many other enzymes in this specific pathway, methylation pathways, transsulfuration, has an active binding site that is provided by heme. Heme, like in hemoglobin, where it's used to 75% in the body, is a ring structure, protoporphyrin structure, that has as a central atom iron. Heme is another chapter where heavy metal load plays a crucial role in its disturbance. The disturbance of heme formation, interruption of what we call protoporphyrin synthesis. So knowing that your sulfite oxidase has an issue because you cannot properly metabolize sulfites into sulfates would not only indicate that you deal with a deficiency in molybdenum, but could very well have its origin in a lack of proper heme formation, which is a whole different chapter. Just to say again, detoxification is good, is necessary. There are a great number of general detox programs that may work well for a lot of people. Sauna, steam sauna, infrared sauna, other detoxification programs. But if you deal with sulfate overload in your body, you need to stay away from them and you need to very cautiously approach your detox program. First step, look at your capacity to metabolize sulfites into sulfates. Molybdenum is the issue. Try molybdenum chelate. Let it not contain sulfates. This is the entry point to open up the last step in that excretion pathway.